Change the world. Start at school. Using Action Clubs and the DST, or Democratic STEM Teaching Framework, by Christina Rosenthal. That's me. I teach in Malden, Massachusetts at a school called the Linden STEAM Academy. We're a K-8 public STEAM-focused innovation school in one of the most diverse districts in the country. We're high needs with 57% free and reduced lunch, and we're a Title I school. I have 95 students in my 5th grade science classes, and they're focusing on the SDGs and food sustainability. The SDGs are the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. The SDGs are 17 goals for making the world a better place by the year 2030. They focus on universal challenges like ending poverty, fighting inequality, and stopping climate change. My students were so inspired and motivated by this initiative. I noticed a few things going on in my classroom. First of all, students were staying after every day to continue their work on engineering and outreach to address food sustainability and the SDGs. I literally could not get them out sometimes. They wanted to do more. I was so impressed with my students' work and felt we could use it to actually improve our community, but we needed meaningful ways to share our work. Also, I felt pretty overwhelmed trying out new project-based learning methods with 4 large classes while maintaining a productive environment. PBL gets pretty chaotic sometimes. Like the day they found their first beans growing. My students' interests in growing their own food and making the world a better place led me to the question, how might we use Action Club projects to pilot methods for increasing student community engagement? So I decided to host an Action Club. First, I conducted empathy interviews to help my students decide on the goals and focus of the club. They wanted to expand on our class gardening work and to spread the SDGs to more people. Next, I trained students to become leaders in our community. The club was led by students and the actions that they wanted to take. I supported them to work together to solve problems and to invite members of the community to join their projects. I got to try out new teaching methods in a low-stakes, small group setting. I then made adjustments to my strategies before using them with my larger classes during the school day. And the after-school group invited all of my classes to participate in the projects they organized. I had trained leaders to help guide the rest of my students. My work with students aligns with the Democratic STEM Teaching Framework, otherwise known as the DST strands. The first strand is student voice. Students shared their ideas, voted on these projects, and produced meaningful work to share with our community. All students had a chance to contribute and knew that their voices were valued. The second strand is shared and transformational authority. Students chose the projects that they wanted to work on and helped decide the strategies we used to brainstorm and share ideas. I based my lessons on student interests and collaborated with them to make decisions. They felt that these were their projects. And third, critical STEM literacy. Students used their work to transform their communities through the SDGs and by teaching people how to grow their own healthy, local, inexpensive produce. School became a place designed for their needs, empowering them to create the futures that they want to see. The club provided the space and support for students to become leaders and spread the SDGs to more people. They invited all 5th grade students to join a meeting that they set up with the mayor and superintendent to spread the SDGs to our entire city. All of our admin and the mayor were really excited about the SDGs and want to continue to spread them in Malden. And I got to try out new makerspace and project-based learning techniques in a small, low-stakes setting. All students are going to use their projects to spread the SDGs and knowledge about food growing at our exhibition night. Without my students, spreading the SDGs wouldn't have happened. Kids want to be leaders. Hosting a student-led club gives them the space and encouragement they need to stand up for what matters to them. And I was so impressed and inspired by how much all of my students care about SDG issues and the creative ideas they have to address them. Students can teach one another. Students in the club gained new skills and ideas, which they used with their engineering groups in my other classes. And teachers benefit from a low-stakes place to try out new strategies. We're under so much pressure that we're often afraid of failure. Having a group where I could try out new teaching methods helped me to see what could work in my classroom. Here are some tips for implementing your own action club. Find work that you are passionate about. If you are inspired, your students will be too. Listen to your students, hear what they want, and give them the space to be the independent leaders that they are. Invite all students to join, giving extra encouragement to those who struggle in school or those who might not have as much support at home to do extracurricular activities. And definitely collaborate with other teachers. They are the best way to gain new ideas, and they can share the workload. Thinking ahead, I'm wondering, how can I involve other teachers so that my students can continue this work next year? How can students get involved in politics to transform their communities? How else can club work be used to enhance classwork for all students? How can we involve more parents and community members in our work? How can students raise funds to buy their own project supplies? How can we continue to spread the SDGs in our communities? Join us in implementing the SDGs. Thanks for watching.